Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Liz Explains the Movies. A cinematic adventure brought to you by boredom and dialysis, not necessarily in that order. You may be asking yourself, where the hell have you been, Liz? Where the hell have you been? Where have you been? Well, I've had a few technical difficulties. First of all, okay, my machine is a very temperamental girl. She has a mind of her own. Especially the bottom, the Pure Flow. The people who do this on a regular basis, my dialysis pals, will know that sometimes your Pure Flow just doesn't want to do what it's supposed to do. So that's fine. So I had to change my pack, which is a big giant black box that weighs about 125 pounds, it seems like. No, it doesn't really, but I can't even do it. I have to make Bill do it because I can't even lift the freaking thing. So, and then you have to be like a contortionist to stick this one wire together with it, and it's a nightmare. So then that broke. That started leaking, so I had a leak in there. And then I had a leak in the tub once, which is another thing that went wrong. And then the other day, I went to dialyze, and I went to check the chloramines. And this is all mumbo jumbo to some people, but anyway, just bear with me. And I went to check the chloramines, and it was going drip, 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 instead of like this stream that's supposed to come out. And so I found out that the cord was kinked, and then I did it too many times, and then called the place, my favorite thing that I call every day. I call them every day. Hey, help me. And I called them and they're like, yeah, you have to dump the whole thing. So then the whole thing has to drain for 3 hours. And then it's 6 hours to make a new one. So that was a 9-hour delay. So I've been having many technical difficulties. But it's okay. We're back. This is my third treatment this week. So we're back. I got my octopus mug. You know, I got my bag of gum. I can't live without this gum, I swear to God. I don't know why. What's wrong with me? And, yeah, we're back to talk about some movies. Now, I did watch a movie, and I did record something about it, but it turned out weird. I can't remember why. Either it turned off in the middle, or I got a phone call. I can't remember what happened, you know. And then I spent a long time editing, because I finally learned how to edit a little bit. And then it got all screwed up and I didn't finish it. So anyway, whatever. I'm back. And this is going to be a little more elegantly edited for your viewing pleasure. So, welcome back. The last movie I watched was a movie called, it's a delightful movie called While You Were Sleeping. I'm going to do my recap of it again because I don't know what happened to the other one. I don't know what happened to the other one. I've been having a delightful time here. So, it's fine. Everything's fine. It's almost Halloween. I am not dressing up. My son had some very creative costumes over the years. He always used to, you know, he's 21 now. And he is a senior in college studying economics, and he, I don't know what he's talking about anymore, ever, but, he had some very fun, creative, and it was very fun to make those Halloween costumes every year. And one year he was a jellyfish. And if you ever had a kid say, Mom, I want to be a jellyfish for Halloween, you're like, seriously? Can't you just be Spider-Man or something? Like, really? I had to make a jellyfish costume. That was not easy. I finally sacrificed a bike helmet. And I'll have to put some of the pictures of his jellyfish costume up. He was a jellyfish. He was... Oh, then the next year he wanted to be Lewis from Lewis and Clark. Bit of a nerd. It's okay. A little bit of a nerd. It's okay. He wanted to be Lewis from Lewis and Clark, and it was very sweet. And we made him a boat. He was a guy in a boat. He had a Lewis costume that was very genuine from my friend Debbie, who was like a historian person, kind of, and she knew all about this. And she was in this reenacting group, and so she had all these things that he could borrow, and it was amazing. And then he had this boat that said Captain Meriwether Lewis, and it said Oregon or Bust. And he watched that Robert Burns Lewis and Clark thing, you know, about 65 times. It was amazing. But when he went out for Halloween, everyone was like, oh, look, it's a guy in a boat. And he got really mad. I'm not a guy in a boat. I'm Captain Meriwether Lewis. It says right on the boat, I'm Captain Meriwether Lewis. Okay. Then, I mean, he wasn't that bad. He wasn't that horrendous, but it was pretty funny. And the next year, we turned the boat into the Titanic. We recycled the boat. The year after that, we turned the boat into a plane, and then we finally threw away the boat. The boat was getting old. And then, what else did we do? Oh, then he was the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. He had one of those blow-up costumes that are so popular here in war-torn Portland. And then he was... Oh, and then he was the Black Knight from Monty Python. You know, the guy who goes, it's just a flesh wound. He was that guy. And I made that costume too. And that was really fun to make. It was really fun. My husband worked so hard on that helmet. He made it out of a wastebasket that we found at the dollar store. Amazing. We spent hours and hours driving all over places, like trying to find this and that for the costume. The right boots and the right sword and the right everything. And it was really, really fun. We went to a thrift store and we got like this ladies sort of evening gown thing. And it was black. And so I made it into like this long tunic like the guy wears. And then I used red puffy paints to make that like whatever dog face dragon thing on there. And then we had this like ribbons coming out for the arm, and it was really, really funny. Everyone loved that one. In fact, he went downtown Portland in his costume for some, I don't know what they had. Like, he went to all the comic book stores, and they're like, you are the best costume ever. You know, everyone loved it in Portland. And then, I think that was the last one he did. I think that was his last major costume, really. Oh, no. Then, later on, really later on, I think it was still in high school, but like right toward the end of high school, he and his friends decided to go trick-or-treating. and his best friend, Zach and Clayton. And Zach was Bob Ross from PBS, the painting guy. You know, lovely little clouds, that guy. Amazing. Clayton was a poo emoji. Clayton was a human poo emoji. And Spencer, oh my gosh, Spencer was Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And it was so funny because we found this picture of her. I mean, he loved her, and she had not died yet. She had not passed away, but I think she was like getting close. But he loved her, and he loved everything she stood for. And we found this picture of her where we compared it with his senior picture, or some picture he took during school, and then her picture right next to it, and they looked like so alike. And I was like, oh my god, this is so funny. And so he was her, and we got him like this judge's robe, and this like lace collar thing, and this gavel, and this like old lady like bun gray haired wig. It was amazing. And it was just, oh my god, it was so funny. RBG. He was RBG. Anyway, rest in peace, RBG. Anyway, so yeah, it's almost Halloween. And this year our church is having a trunk or treat. And my dog is out in the backyard barking. Our church is having a trunk or treat. And that'll be fun, I guess. I don't know how to decorate a Subaru. I don't know. I have no energy left. I'm just gonna stick a bowl in the back. Hey kids, help yourself. I don't know, I'll probably be inside helping serve hot dogs or something. But it's on Saturday, which is the day after Halloween, which is... But whatever, because you can't do it on Halloween day because, you know, the kids want to go trick-or-treating, and then the next day... So I don't know. If anyone doesn't have enough candy yet, come on down. And I haven't had any Halloween candy to eat. I just don't do sugar anymore. Like, hardly. I can't. I love, you know what? I inhale Jolly Ranchers. Hard Jolly Rancher candies. I love those. I do inhale an inordinate amount of those. But, other than that, I mean, chocolate and cookies and all that stuff, I just... I don't know. It kind of makes me sick. I don't feel very good with it. So, yeah. So that's all the news. So the machine is doing okay now. I'm going to tell you about this movie, and I hope I remember everything, because I saw it a week and a half ago, while you were sleeping. It stars, and I'm going to make some Band-Aids. We have to make our own Band-Aids. Now, I want to talk to you, too, about aseptic technique. Because I want you to know that no matter what it looks like on here, I'm always trying to maintain aseptic technique, which means keeping things very, very sanitary. And even though I touch my face sometimes and all that, I don't do it in the times when you think. So I'm already on the machine. I am not, you know, I'm putting on gloves. I'm going to take these little 2x2s and this blue tape, and I'm going to make a bunch of these Band-Aids that we use. And then I'm going to put little strips of tape on my thing here, and it's all going to be kind of sterile because I'm doing it with gloves. And it's hard to manipulate tape in gloves. You have to be kind of a wizard. But I kind of am one. So, anyway. I had book club the other night. That was fun. I picked a book I hated. It was my turn to pick the book. I get to pick the book like once a year. I picked this book. I thought it would be great. It was not. Let's just leave it at that. I did not like it. I was not a fan. And we had book club at the Backstop. I need my scissors. We had book club at the Backstop, which is a restaurant here, and it was fun. A couple people were missing. They were out of town, but that's okay. We had a good time. And the next book is something about a river. And then the one after that, the next book club meeting is in November, but the one after that is our Christmas party, our White Elephant Christmas party, where we give away, well, some people, we have a rule. You have to have it, you can do kooky gifts, but you have to do at least one normal one. And so people do different things, and I don't know. I try to make it really fun for everyone. Last year, one of the gifts I gave was the Clowns in the Wild calendar that I featured earlier on an earlier episode of this documentary or whatever this is. Okay. So, okay, that's not good. I don't like it when they stick together. I could live without that. So let's talk about this movie, While You Were Sleeping, with Sandra Bullock. It stars also Bill Pullman. It stars Peter Gallagher, and also the late great Peter Boyle, who was fantastic in Young Frankenstein, a million other movies. I can't remember if he was in Blazing Saddles. I don't think so, but I know he was in What About Raymond? Wasn't he in that show? I didn't watch that show much. I wasn't really a sitcom fan. I love quirky, kooky sitcoms. Like, I loved The Office. I love The Office. I love Parks and Rec. You know, but The Office is like my #1 forever show. I mean, oh my God, Dwight Schrute, right? Dwight Schrute. Am I right? Am I right? Okay, so anyway, because who hasn't worked in a weird office like that? And every single person in that office, you've met them in real life. I mean, right? So it's incredible. Anyway, so Peter Boyle is in it. And that's pretty much all the famous people in it. But, oh, yeah. And so it's a really good movie. So here's what the deal is. So Sandra Bullock plays a girl named Lucy Eleanor Moderetz. And she is in Chicago. The whole thing takes place in Chicago. And I'm not going to spoil any spoilers, okay? So the whole thing takes place in Chicago. And Lucy lives alone. She's a single girl on her own. Her mom died when she was very young. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need one more. Okay. Her mom died when she was very young, and then she had her dad only, and she was an only child. And then she and her dad had little adventures together, but they didn't have much money. But they talked about how they wanted to travel all the time, but they never really went anywhere. They just went to like Milwaukee and stuff. But still, he was a dreamer, you know. And so then her dad died. He got sick. And so now she has no one. She's totally alone with her cat. She has a nice cat, and she lives alone in this little apartment in Chicago. And she works at the elevated train in Chicago, you know? Like a subway kind of, but it's up in the air kind of. And so she's working in her little booth. And every day there's this guy who comes by, and he's really handsome. And he's really well dressed, and he smells good or whatever, and he's like a lawyer or something, and he's like, she's like, oh, it's my dream guy. You know how like you have that crush on someone you don't even know, and you're like, oh, there he goes, the really cute guy I like. But like you have never even talked to the guy, you know what I mean? Everyone has like a person like that, right? Like, oh, there he is, the guy I was gonna marry, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, so she's like, that guy's there, and every day he walks by and he puts a token in her booth, and every day he doesn't say anything to her, and she's like, okay, see you next time, see you tomorrow, bye. And she just stares off like must be nice to be with him or something. Anyway, then her boss, who has figured out, his name is Jerry, he's a nice guy, but he's figured out that, you know, Lucy is one of the few employees that he has that doesn't have any family, and doesn't have a huge family, and is not cooking for 17 people, and doesn't have a place to go on Christmas and all this, and she's basically alone, and so he makes her work every holiday. He doesn't make her, but he asks her, and she says, God, you know, I get so sick of working every holiday, but like she always does it. She says yes, right? So this one day, it's Christmas finally, and she's working again on Christmas Day. She's working again, and of course, Peter Gallagher is the guy who is the lawyer guy who she sort of has a crush on from afar. He's played by Peter Gallagher. His name is Peter Callahan, though, in the character. And he walks by her subway thing, but there's nobody there because nobody's going to work on Christmas Day. He's the only one. So he's a bonehead, and he puts a little token in her thing, and he looks at her, and he goes, Merry Christmas. And she's like, okay, thank you. Like, she was so stunned that he even talked to her. And she sort of smiled, and she was like, she had no idea. She just froze. She had no idea what to do. She was so nervous and so happy, but so like, why didn't I say anything else? Like, I could have said hello, I could have said this, I could have said that. You know, and anyway, she's like running over in her mind all the things she could have said to this guy when he finally talks to her on Christmas Day when she's sitting in her booth. And she didn't. And then she's looking, and he's on the tracks, and these kids come along on the tracks, and they're like these punk kids, and they're like messing with him kind of, and he's got his briefcase and his long beautiful coat, and he's all dressed up, and they're like pushing him around, and there's no one around, and so they're just like, they think they're gonna mess with this guy and they're gonna try and rob him. And she sees all this, and they push him down, and he falls on the tracks. He falls on the tracks, her dream guy. And then the kids run away, and she's yelling, hey, hey, you know. And the kids run away, and she's like, oh my God, I gotta get this guy off the tracks. He's gonna get hit by a train. So at first, you know, she can't wake him up. And she's like, Mister, wake up, wake up. And then she sees there's a train coming. Now what? And so then she's gonna, like, so she just takes him and she's like, you've got to get up. And then he can't get up. He's not waking up. He's knocked out, right? So she just sort of puts her arms around him and, like, rolls off to the side of the track where there's, like, this little space where a train won't hit them. But it's still on the tracks. And so she pulls him into that thing. And the train goes by, and then she calls 911, and they come and get him, and she rides in the ambulance with them, and they get to the emergency room, and she's really worried about him, and she's like, and he goes, and the guy in the emergency room says, family only, you can't, are you family, are you his family? And she's like, no, but I, and like, they don't really let her finish, and they slam the door in her face to the ER, you know. And this nurse overhears her, and they slam the door, and the door's closing, and she goes, I was gonna marry him. Which, you know, is a joke, kind of. But, like, sort of not to her, really. And so, anyway, so this nurse overhears this, and she goes, wait a minute, you were gonna marry him? And she's like, well, yeah, I mean, and she goes, this is her fiance. This is, you gotta let him in. And so she grabs her and puts him right in the room with him, and they're working on him, and he's in a coma, and she's, you know, and they're like, this is his fiance. She saved his life. And so then she sits there all night in the hospital with him, hoping he'll wake up, and he doesn't wake up. He's in this coma. And then she's just about to leave to go to her job again the next day. After Christmas, and his family walks in, and the nurse is there, and they say, oh no, Peter, and they're so upset they heard about Peter getting hit on the railroad tracks or whatever, and they said, wait, who are you? This girl's in here, and she goes, I'm Lucy, and the nurse says, that's his fiance, you don't know her? She saved his life. And they're like, you saved his life? And they well, Peter has a lot of different girls, or he used to, you know, like maybe you do know her. And anyway, so they sort of embrace her. They said, well, you know, we didn't get to have Christmas because all this happened, so why don't you come to our house for Christmas and we'll get to know you, and maybe Peter will wake up and you can tell us how you met Peter and all about your engagement. And she's like, and then she goes home to her empty apartment with her silly little cat, and she's got her sad little Charlie Brown Christmas tree, and they keep calling and say, please come over for Christmas, we want to see you, and we want to meet you, and we love you, thank you for saving Peter. And so she's like, okay, I'll go. So now they think she's really his fiance. She's not. And then things just get complicated. But it's really a romantic comedy. And then she meets his brother, and his brother's a really nice guy, and they start to become really good friends. And the longer it goes on, the harder it is for her to tell them, look, I'm really not his fiance. And so then it's a big thing about how she's gonna tell him, and I'm not gonna spoil the rest of the movie, but it's a sweet, sweet movie. There are great performances. Sandra Bullock is never wrong. I mean, I've never seen her in anything that's like really terrible, except maybe that dumb one where she's like a cop. I don't like that one. But anyway, I don't know what that's called. But anyway, it's a great movie. It's very sweet. I love also that it takes place in the 90s. No one has a cell phone. No one's on the internet all the time. No one's like staring into their phones. You know, it's really sweet. It's really well written. And again, it's a romantic comedy, and they don't make movies like this anymore. They do not. Now, that is the movie for today, and I think you should watch it. I'm going to put the trailer down below, and like usual, in the description box where you hit the word more, and then it'll come up. Also, I have started watching a movie that came highly recommended to me by my book club, and that was called The Penguin Lessons. And I am excited to finish that because it's going to be a very good movie. I can already tell. It's incredible. And if you liked a movie like My Octopus Teacher, kind of like that, you will love this movie. I'm only about half an hour into it, but I'm going to finish watching it today after I edit this. I am going to get this video out today, and I hope everyone is having a great time. I hope you have a happy and fun and safe Halloween, and I hope everyone is doing okay despite all the craziness going on in the world. I'm not going to go into any more than that. But I hope everyone is getting by, and, you know, if you need me, I'll be on the machine. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I encourage you to do that, and please hit the thumbs up button for this video. And, you know, I hope you come back for the next movie, and I really enjoy doing this, and I'm trying to get better at it, and I'm trying to be more consistent. I have been pretty consistent up until now, and then I had this kerfuffle with the machine, but I'm back, and I hope, oh, and I'll put up some of the pictures from different Halloween costumes, and what else? I don't know. I just hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.